This is the last talk on God Almighty's mantra, and I'll be concluding this talk now in this R9. I have jotted down various points. Where necessary, I'll try to read out also so that time taken is less. In the last talk, R8, I had discussed about breaking relations from LEC 21, EXT 13. It was about not breaking relations. One more thing I'd like to add there, that a person being driven towards disaster by the God Almighty by breaking relations one after another may change the course. Suppose if that disaster was to come, say, after breaking of 15 relations, 15 relations, and this lady or the gentleman, using his or her free will of thought, decides after breaking the fifth relation that no, I'll not do it now, it's not good, I'll not do it. So that's all. He or she succeeds, not breaking relations. So another 10 relations are not broken, which were in that, God's decided things. So for these, not breaking these 10 relations, this lady or the gentleman will get positive marks. And my dear friends, when such actions are taken using our free will, that is power of thought, even the course of life can change. So, those who use their thoughts for not doing several bad things attract God Almighty's attention, which results in change of course of life. This is a revelation, if you want to take it, and it is against the theory of fixed destiny. While discussing this, I think another important matter could also be discussed, that certain people who have done certain bad things in the past, and when they are trying to go towards spirituality, they are always dragged by the thought that I did this bad and this bad, will the God Almighty forgive me and can I still make progress? So for them I have to say that whatever happened has happened. At least now for the future, if anything bad is going to happen, just think over, use the power of your thought and stop that. And if this could be done, you can take it that you'll be getting positive marks from the God Almighty, and slowly by doing like this, for a few years you will find that you are not being dragged by those past deeds, and your spiritual journey will be very smooth. So this is what happens. In this case, I like to tell my astrologer friends, then they need not worry that their predictions will go wrong in case of such persons, because the God Almighty, when He gave this knowledge of astrology, He had already fixed dynamic coordinates. These dynamic coordinates are planets which keep on moving from time to time. So based on this, they can still predict, and those predictions will come right. Only thing to my astrologer friends, I'd like to say that be truthful, and if you are already in the line of becoming a proper human being, I think your predictions will come out to be true. And just see this thing that you are not making the planets as destiny writers. You are not telling so many methods by which these planets can be lured to or distracted to do good or bad for a person, because that doesn't happen, my dear friends. And at the same time, if you are charging money, don't be greedy, charge whatever is reasonable. Don't try to put fear in the minds of your clients just to get more money in future. So if these things are there, overall, if they are at a good level in the scale of humanity, the predictions will come true. Only thing, you have to do a lot of studies, do a lot of research, and then only you can be a good astrologer. Now, another thing on this, when we do good for someone, for others, as I have already stated earlier, that good was to happen as the will of the God Almighty. And therefore we do not get any positive point on this. Only thing, if you don't do that, we will get the negative point. Therefore, let nobody become very proudy or arrogant or an egotist that I did this good and that good and all that, etc. Instead, be very happy and thank God Almighty that He chose you to do those good things. Because you see, God Almighty was otherwise going to do it. If He had not chosen you, He could have chosen somebody else. It's not that you are the only person who could have done His bidding. So that thing should be kept in mind. Now, another very important matter, it could be taken as a revelation also, if not existing already. This is that please clearly know that God Almighty stands for change. Things are not just stationary in His domain, under His wish. You see, He can do even such a big change that He may just destroy our earth and create another, or have His creations in some other planet. So God Almighty is for change. So let nobody ever, through the imagination of mind, try to restrict the power of change of God Almighty. Because, my dear friends, His power of change is so vast, so great, that nobody's imagination will ever touch that. It is beyond our imagination. So this should be known. Similarly, one can never understand or fully know His expanse, His administration, and about all His domain, what He does in different places and all that, etc. So don't waste your time to try to know these things by going through so many books or listening to the people, because I can say for sure that they have not gone there, they cannot tell the truth, and whosoever wrote in the long past, ancient times, if they are trying to refer to that, there is no surety that that may be true. So the only thing left for our curiosity is this, that move towards God Almighty. When we reach near Him, ask Him questions, or when you meet Him, ask Him, and He'll tell you. But remember again that He doesn't tell everything. He may tell you that why do you want this thing and why do you want that thing. Be happy that I'll be taking care of you. Why you are bothered for this thing and that thing? So Please remember this. You see, forget the God Almighty. If you see in this world, suppose you want to be very friendly with, say, President of USA or maybe Prime Minister of India, you might become friendly. I mean, they may invite you for a lunch or dinner, etc., may talk to you. And this way you can say they have become your friends. Now if you try to ask them that how you are getting that things done and how you are getting that things done and what is there in the presidential house, what is there in the prime minister house there and this and that. Just think that how childish it will be. I think you won't like to ask all these things. So when you can't ask them, and even if you ask, they won't tell. So, and you'll be embarrassed by asking these questions. So anyway, one doesn't feel embarrassed when talking to the God Almighty, no problem, you can ask and He'll tell whatever He feels fit. But don't try to find out too early, because all that knowledge will be of no use, no point. And also please note that from time to time, the God Almighty creates new ideas, new methods to reach Him. Anybody telling that this particular thing also only is the right method, he might have said it in the past, so that is not right, that is not true. And also please know that God Almighty never takes birth on this land. He doesn't move here and there as a human being, because He can create, He can send some souls for this purpose. Even for getting very big things done, He can create a soul and send it here for doing that work, and after that particular work, the soul goes back to the God Almighty. He doesn't have to come. So never relate any past or present human being with God Almighty. Relate in the sense that He is God Almighty. No, my dear friends, it doesn't happen. So you may take these utterings from me as revelations. Now coming back to God Almighty's mantra, please note that it is essential that every year we take a pause and look back at our progress. We can ourselves check and evaluate as to how much more height has been achieved in the last 1 year. If it is achieved, okay, be happy, but where you find that you have slid back, just make a mental resolve that at least in this year you will climb back to that original height, because that decline should not take place. Since I will be concluding this talk on the mantra, I would like to few more topics. One is support and best wishes to others. This is one very important aspect. What happens, somebody is trying to do something here and there, maybe relative, maybe very near person, he may talk to you. So as long as it is not antisocial, unlawful, anti-national, immoral, it becomes your duty. If he has told you something on that, I want to do this or I am doing this, that you should at least extend your best wishes to the person. This is, you can take it as God Almighty's wish, because if you do not do it, something bad may happen. I won't discuss further on this thing, etc. Then consensus and teamwork. Here I think one should know that sometimes in a team some matter is to be decided, that this thing to be done like this or this. So there a vast majority may like that this is the right method, we should go ahead by this. But suppose we or one person, he doesn't agree. And then, but finding others for that, he should fall in line, he should accept. And when working, he should not remain a dissenter while working also. Should work on that particular work or a project with all his heart and mind. Then another good trait I'll discuss, that is humility. Humility is that we describe even our very big achievements as a simple thing, only that these are important. That's all. So humility should also be kept. And please never boast that you are a mantra man, that I have taken this mantra and this, and what you are. If you do this, you will get negative mark immediately from the God Almighty. So never do it. Even if you want to motivate somebody else that he should also take the mantra, then casually discuss. Sometimes if he is interested, he will talk to you. If he is not interested, forget it. Because he has his own journey. You have your own journey, you have liked it, and you are doing this thing only for improving your own personality. We are not doing any thing for, any obligation on others. It is our job and we are doing it, so never boast, please. Then next topic is happiness and eagerness to learn from others who are different than us. My dear friends, this is a very important matter. You might have seen that a person or few persons, they like to search out persons similar to them in the sense of race, religion, color, language. But my dear friends, are the rest of the people not God Almighty's creations? Are they not human beings? If they come on your way, be friendly with them, because the variety is the essence of God Almighty's creation. So accept all His creations fully and try to learn also something, because if you meet somebody who has some other language, probably you learn a few words of that language also, so that way your knowledge increases. And then their things, their culture, their religion, and this and that you can discuss. So your general knowledge increases, and you may take something good also from them. So never try to avoid persons of other race, religion, color, language. Be friendly to them. And don't keep on working only on this, that who is from my place, who is of my religion, who is of my this, then I'll be meeting him. If you think like this, just please think over one more thing, that is similarity with others a guarantee of peaceful relations, good relations? Is it really so? Just look back at your own relatives, or the relatives of your friends. Are they all pulling on well? Is there no enmity? I think you'll get the answer yourself. So please think about that. Now another very important thing I'd like to discuss, it is this, that when we are going on a spiritual journey, we should watch for certain symptoms. One symptom for, say, persons of 50 years and above, I'll tell you, because these symptoms, they are an indication that they are moving in their spiritual journey very well. These symptoms are that our expectations might have, almost evaporated. We don't expect this thing and that thing from others. Our desires might have come down. That I would like to take that car, that house, I want to acquire that thing, etc. Probably that desire might have gone down. No, whatever I have, that is enough. No, I don't want. Even your desire to go to different places here and there, see the things, that also might have come down. That I have seen enough. And sometimes some gentlemen, maybe even this exalted, I'll say, that why I need to go there. You just show me the photograph, just describe, and through my power of comprehension, I'll visit all those places. I'll know what good is there and what is to be seen. So without that, with the power of one's thought, one can do that. Then you may like to reduce the area of your operations. I mean, whatever you are doing, you may think that is too much, etc. I'll reduce. You may, delegate the power to deal with those things to somebody else. Or if you have, at the age of 50, 60 years, you may have your sons, daughters, you might like to tell them that you take over. I want to retire from these activities, I'll just look after only these activities. Then at the same time, you will be feeling generally satisfied. No, my life is okay. Oh, my relations are okay. Children are okay. No, I have no complaint. So this symptom may also appear. Then you just look back, I said, mind is garden, not garbage yard. Look at the garbage yard in the mind. You will find it is getting emptied. So many bad feelings which used to be there some 15 years, 20 years back, or even 5 years back, those might have evaporated. Even if you want to recall, probably it will be difficult for you to recall. That is, you might have forgotten those things. So, and at the same time, you will notice that you are now collecting very little things. For our collection in our house, we want this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing. There won't be desire for that probably. Your desire will be too less. Maybe if you are collecting some 10 years back, some 10 things for a particular type of things, etc., you may be collecting now only one thing. So these are the symptoms. If these symptoms are there, be happy, my dear friend, you are moving well towards God Almighty. It also shows that you have used the mantra of I'll become proper human being very well. Congratulations. Now, in case of youngsters who are less than 50 years, in their case, you see, they may be engaged in so many things. They may be in some job, doing some business, their children may be still young, they may be still struggling to, complete their education and go into some professional college, etc. So many things must be still pending. And if they are in that position, it means this is God Almighty's wish that they are in that position. So they have to discharge those duties well. But at the same time, if they have liked spirituality, they will be taking the mantra of I'll become a proper human being, and they will notice, these are their symptoms, they will notice that their anger, which was coming very often earlier, it has come down. That thing I spoke in one of the talks, that if earlier, if they didn't like somebody's opinion or somebody's talk or something, if they become angry, they may not talk to even 2 days. Now probably they may be talking within 15 minutes or half an hour. So that controlling effect might have come. They also might have started forgetting past garbage in the mind. Their area of garden may also be increasing. Then another very good thing which may be happening, that earlier when they used to do some wrong things also and bad things, probably that might have stopped if they have taken the mantra of I'll become a proper human being. These things stop within a year. So that progress might be there. So they also will be having definite progress and they should be happy. And my congratulations to them that they'll also be moving on well. in their journey. So after having said all this, my dear friends, I will conclude the topic of God Almighty's mantra and say with satisfaction that I have taken God Almighty's mantra that I will become a proper human being. So I have said it. If you have taken the mantra, you also please say this. And now we'll go to step 2 from the next talk or 10. Thank you.